Well, hey everyone, welcome to Midweek Live. So glad that you guys are joining us today. I have Josh Dolarian with us today. If you've heard that name before, it is actually because we actually had Josh on our stage getting ordained as a pastor for Thrive Church. So first off, congratulations.
Yeah, it was a holy moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, what was really neat, we came together as a staff.
Yeah.
And had this, it was actually one of our all staffs, right? That we all came together, and I loved the fact that we were just able to pray with you and pray over you and the ministry work that really that's been in your heart for a while, right? Because we did a testimony.
Yeah.
And we didn't even talk about this part of the story, right? But you had it on your heart from as a teenager.
Yeah.
That you wrote it in your Bible.
Yeah.
That you really felt that God was calling you to be a pastor.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's been a couple years.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been 16 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a whole there's a waiting that we have to learn in, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you learned a lot in that waiting period?
Yeah. It's I've always specifically wanted to be a pastor, and I've been in vocational ministry for a decade. But I've always had it on my heart to go to a spot where no one else is. Where I love what the Apostle Paul says in Romans. He says, "It's always been my ambition to preach the gospel where Christ was not known." And I just want to reach people that don't know Jesus and aren't connected to a local church and aren't connected to a community of people, because gosh, we need community right now more than ever.
Oh yeah. And am I right? I mean, you grew up kind of attending church a little here and there, but not this was really a more in your teenage years that you really started to come to church and really start to dig in and really start to have a personal relationship with Jesus, if I remember correct. Is that correct?
Yeah, I really started my walk with Jesus when I was 17 and started devouring my Bible. And then I met this dude that some of you know named Kevin Manning. And it was back in the days of the earrings and the big old mutton chops.
I think he still has the chops, but not the earrings anymore.
He's filled out a little bit in his beard. The beard has come together.
Longer than it was before.
Yeah, but Kevin and other people really supported me and helped me to figure out my life in Christ. Yeah. And then I married the preacher's daughter. So
yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yes, you did. I bring up that, I grew up in the church as well, but oftentimes, and I grew up hearing a lot of those stories, somebody being called to ministry. And oftentimes you do hear that it's been this lineage, these years and years and years of my father was a pastor and my grandfather and so I bring that up because I think that's just such an important part to hear. This was not necessarily a lineage of, you had seen it modeled for you in the years past. You weren't going through, Ancestry.com to find this stuff out. You literally just felt this calling on your heart. Yeah. And then to wait and to be in that patient waiting. Yeah. And I'm sure, did you have those moments of okay, Lord, what, you said this to me a long time ago, 6 years ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago. Did you feel that?
Yeah. And especially I felt during COVID-19, when it was really bad, it was just what is the state of the church going to look like, and how are we going to move forward as a church? Yeah. And really the name of our church is Thrive, because I felt the only way our church is going to move forward is if we thrive. If we move forward and have this thriving mentality where we just say, no matter what hell stacks against us, we have heaven on our side, and we're going to move forward because we have a God that's bigger than circumstances, bigger than anything that we can think, do, or imagine. Yeah,
that's awesome. I'm going to ask this question, but I think you've almost answered it, so I'll just ask it in a different way. This church is actually growing and is based in the Madera Ranchos. Yes. And I love that you started off by saying that you really felt like God was calling you to lead a church in place that really, it's not that Madera Rancho doesn't have churches, it's just not as many clearly as a larger city like Fresno or even Clovis has. Yes. And so you really felt called to the Madera Ranchos on purpose, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's some awesome churches out there. Golden Valley Southern Baptist Church is helping us out. There's Flipside Church, which is an awesome church. And there are some amazing churches out there, but there are a lot of people and a lot of new houses coming into that developing region, and people that don't have a church home. And that's those are the people that I want to reach.
Absolutely. So that's who it's for. It's really like the growing community. You want to be a part of the growing community. Like as they move into these new developments, they could also begin like a new church and have that new experience and stuff. That's awesome. I love that. What kind of needs? So when we did the ordination, we also had you come. You did like a video, if I remember right, like video thing.
There's a little twinkle in my eye. I was starstruck. If you guys watch it, it's amazing.
Really cool.
The video guys did a great job.
Yeah, no, it was pretty neat. Yeah, I love when we do that.
I didn't even wear makeup.
We didn't have to powder the nose that day. So what our pastors really called our church to at that moment was really say, hey guys, there's this church and it is in its newest beginnings. You can be a part of supporting it in some way. If you live in the Madera Ranchos or you live in that area, or you just feel a calling that God says, hey, I want you to be a part of this. Like commit yourself to whatever it is that he's calling you to. So whether that be going and committing for like a year, I think they even said, like, just go and support and help. If you want to help set up there, if you want to give to see, your money and your treasure, really just begin to be put in the hands of this brand new church that is just trying to do God's ministry in a powerful way. Right. And that started to happen. And I love that you're naming off churches that are also part. I love this. This is what church is supposed to be, right? It's not supposed to be like sides and lines and we're all in this thing together and we're all on the same team. I'm a little bit too awkward to want to fight people over territory. I just be like, I'm clueless. I don't know. I just want to reach people, and maybe people don't like it, but I just want to reach people that don't know Jesus, Absolutely. So tell me a little bit, if I am walking up to your church for the very first time, what am I expecting? What can I expect?
So, a lot of really cool stuff has happened. We have an amazing worship leader. He's actually a recording artist. You guys can check him out. His name's Simbella. Just check out Simbella. He's amazing. He's from Congo.
Oh, very cool.
And oh my gosh, he's too good. It's just like too good. And
how did you come across? How did your paths cross?
So,
just out of curiosity.
I have a really amazing brother-in-law named Kyle Williams, and
we happen to know him.
I think some people know him here. And Kyle just put the ask out to a bunch of worship leaders, and David checked us out and was like, I want to be a part of this thing.
Wow.
And we were just like, yes, please be a part of us. We need you.
That's awesome.
And then we also have just an incredible children's director named Audrey Wilkinson.
Okay.
She is just so dynamic. I couldn't have asked for a better person than her to help lead our kiddos. So we've got a spot for kids, and we've got just a really good worship ministry going on right now. And you can expect to hear a message full of faith, hope, and love that you'll walk away and hopefully feel the tangible love of Jesus.
So there's actually a grand opening coming up. Because it's not, so I was asking you about this before we start. I was like, but you guys have been going, but you were saying like, this is like the actual like launch. This is like that moment, the ship is getting ready to, right? Is this that moment? The christening? Okay.
We are officially having our grand opening on the 26th.
Okay, so not this Sunday, but the following.
The following Sunday. This Sunday is cool because we're going to have our first baby dedication. And so we're going to have my son be dedicated. And then we're going to also have a little guy named Jethro get dedicated as well, and it's just so cool. And then the following Sunday we'll have our official grand opening where we say, like, mark your calendars. The 26th of September is when our church officially began.
Wow.
So
Wow. And you could be there from the ground up. That is so Cool. So, yeah, we were actually talking. You were saying you guys are going to start doing some of the 40 days of purpose.
Yeah.
If you have never heard of it, I can't imagine that you haven't heard of it. But Saddleback did this years ago as a book and everything. And it really just talks about, you actually said it really well. Describe what that is.
Yeah, the book is essentially about like, what on earth am I here for?
Yep.
What do I exist for? And I think I was praying about it, and I was just like, gosh, like, what does this world need right now? Because we're coming out of COVID, and I think there's a lot of people that are asking this question: why am I here? I'm not here to sit in front of a computer screen all day. I'm not here. There's something bigger that my life is designed for, and so we want to capture the hearts and minds of people and just say, like, yeah, you do have a bigger calling on your life that can exceed the expectations that even you place on your own self. So we want people to take a hold of that vision for their life that God put into their heart and live out that vision that's probably greater than they could imagine. And it's all about getting in touch with Jesus to find out who you are and what on earth you're here.
And this was actually one of the books that you read early on when you started to feel like the Lord had a calling on your life. Am I right? Is that true?
This is a funny story. So I shouldn't say this online, but I met Rick Warren because he's Pastor Steve's like best friend, and I met him, and he's just an incredible dude. And after I met him, it was probably a couple years. Don't tell anybody. But I was just like, hey, I should probably read his book. And so that was it was a little bit later. So I got to know the guy first, and then I read his book, which is probably the opposite of most people. But
Rick's such a great, he is a like boisterous, loving, just such a fun guy.
He's the thing about him that I love and that I admire about him and Pastor Steve is like, what you see on the stage is what you get in real life. Like, they're not much different. They are the same person on stage and off stage. And I can especially speak to Steve. He's just like a genuine dude that loves Jesus. And that's who I want to be. And that's why I wanted to, additionally, that's why I wanted to put that book out there and just say, like, this guy's the real deal. This is who I want to be. And this is who we want to be as a church. Real, authentic people that love Jesus and want other people to know him more.
That is awesome. So where are you? We just keep talking about Madera Ranchos. And where exactly are you guys at?
So right now we're meeting at Webster Elementary. Thank you, Webster Elementary, for hosting us. But our original intent was to meet at Liberty High School. Liberty High is the main high school. It's like kind of the epicenter of that city right now. And when I originally looked into it, we couldn't get there because it was funny. Like, all of the sports were getting done in like the end of the year, so they're jamming all the sports.
And when you say all the sports, you mean not just for that season, all the sports that either happen in fall or spring, doesn't matter. Everything's happening in those last couple months.
There's probably hacky sack going on. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but everything.
I love it. There you go. So clearly that couldn't happen then.
So we locked down the school and we're able to meet there. It has great parking. It's highly accessible. We meet in the theater, which has like theater row seating. So
like, kind of the little comfy seating.
You can grab some popcorn and and if it's bad, just don't throw the popcorn at me. But we don't have popcorn actually. But you can bring
They're gonna walk in and be like, "Where's my popcorn?" Maybe you should add popcorn. I'm just kidding. No.
Maybe if we do an evening service.
There you go. Which is actually a perfect segue. Is there an online option for those people that can't? Well, even those people that might just be curious. What we've noticed. Before COVID, people would oftentimes look at a church's website and just kind of check things out before they ever set foot on there. Now they will go and they will watch services for a time before they ever set foot in there. So I imagine you will probably get a lot of people that will watch online. I believe you do stream.
Yes,
yeah?
we stream our services. They're definitely not as high quality as North Point.
That's okay.
But
That's okay.
we're working on it.
That's okay.
And we stream our services at 10:30, and we have some members of our church that are like, gosh, we just feel uncomfortable because of all this COVID and the Delta variant. So we want to spend a season at home, and that's totally fine. They just watch the services online, and we communicate and talk to them and check up on them and see how they're doing. So Yeah.
So there's community happening even online, and that's really important.
Yeah.
Being a part of the online ministry that happens here, it's amazing the kind of places that your stream can actually end up. The cities and the states that it can actually reach is a really, really amazing thing. It's a mission work in and of itself.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see people connect and make community happen online, and it just happens naturally. People are used to talking to a variety of people from a variety of different places online. They expect it. Because they're on social all the time. So it's a really, really amazing and cool thing. Another aspect of your church is small groups. And I imagine that's probably pretty important. It's important for every church. It feels like the bigger you get, the smaller you have to get.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to be at that smaller scale because if you're in a small group, you will know a lot more people.
Yeah. I think right now the greatest, Mother Teresa said this, and it's always stuck out to me. She said loneliness is the greatest form of poverty.
Yes.
And she said that from Calcutta, India, which is like one of the epicenters of poverty in the world. Mm-hmm. But I think that there's a lot of people that might have financial wealth but might be very poor right now relationally. Yeah. And so in order to combat that poverty, we need to get in smaller groups and in community with one another. Yeah. So that's why we're really pushing for people to get into small groups. And 40 Days of Purpose is a perfect time to jump into
I was going to ask, will you be doing that curriculum during that?
Yeah.
And small groups looks like, does it happen there on your... I'm assuming it doesn't happen on campus. It would happen in people's homes, right?
Yeah, it's happening at homes, and we also have a neutral meeting spot that people can meet in as well.
Oh, that's cool.
So, it's going to be happening in homes and in some other spots along in the Madera Ranchos area.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. I'm glad that you also included a neutral area.
Yeah.
Some people are maybe just a little more like, hey, I don't know if I want to open up my whole house to like a bunch of people and stuff. So it might be kind of nice to have a neutral spot.
Yeah, and especially if you have kids. It's so stressful to clean the house.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Throw up everywhere.
I was trying to say without saying. My guys are older, but I remember that's always been like a reasoning behind like, oh my gosh, like it's the end of the day. Like the last thing I want to do is try and get this house into like a condition where I like am not completely embarrassed by the front bathroom or whatever it may look like. So that's kind of neat to give that option for sure. You had your first baptism as a church.
Yeah, we had our first baptism, and we actually have a couple more in the pipeline because we just did our second membership class.
Okay. Oh, you guys are even doing membership classes.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah. Steve told me you should do those membership classes before you even launch. Just get those people involved and let them know what the DNA of your church is. Yeah. So we had a couple people that went through our first membership class. Right now we have 25 members of the church.
Nice.
But one person wanted to become a member of the church but had never been baptized.
Oh.
And what was really cool was he is 76 years old.
Oh, I love it.
And
wow, he'd never been baptized. Yeah. 76 years old.
Yeah, and his wife said, it's been my prayer for 50 years that my husband would be baptized.
Wow.
And
oh my gosh.
That's why we do church planning.
That is so cool.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's worth the long haul. Man, that is so cool. Over and over again, even as we're talking, you hear that the theme is that there is a waiting on the Lord.
Yeah.
And I think something very important happens in that waiting. I imagine for the wife, right, of the person that you're talking about, it was a lot of faith building.
Yeah. Right.
That she wasn't seeing the results of it, but was having faith that that the Lord was hearing her prayer.
Yeah.
and that in due time it would happen, right?
Yeah.
The already not yet type of situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the same thing goes for you. And I'm sure as the years pass, you're just going, and then like you said, COVID hit, and you're going, how is this even going to take place, right?
Yeah.
But like no mind can see, no eye, right? Exactly. It's like amazing how God works so beyond our plans, our imaginations. He has such a bigger plan and a better plan if we just like continue to submit to him.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it was a wild ride. We started on Zoom because I was like, how are we going to make this happen?
Wow, that's faithful.
Yeah.
That's faithful.
Yeah. We started collecting our core group on Zoom. And then we started meeting in my backyard. And somehow, thank you, Jesus, it never rained, which was amazing.
Very nice.
But it was cold.
These must have been the earlier months of the year.
Yeah. And then we moved to my martial arts studio, Pacific Martial Arts. And, I love my gym, and it's amazing. I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and karate.
Oh, my.
And
you just said you wouldn't fight some. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no.
You said, I can fight.
I can't.
I'm just saying I wouldn't fight.
Yeah, it'd just be awkward. I don't want to do it. Yeah. But, we decided that after meeting at the dojo for a little while, we need a little bit more space. Yeah. And so we headed out, packed our bags up, and moved to the ranchos. Yeah.
What does this whole thing look like for your family? How has this experience been for you and your wife and your kids?
Yeah.
As you've been kind of pushing, you're not in full-time ministry, right? You have a job, right?
Yeah.
During the week?
Yeah. I am a faculty member at Fresno City College, and I oversee the tutoring center and the writing and reading center there. But it's impossible to not make this my full-time job. So I'm also working like a lot of hours doing this.
Yeah.
But it's a huge sacrifice. But I believe like God calls us sometimes to crazy steps of obedience. And I believe that he's called us to this. And my wife senses that same calling too. And and God has been faithful to us as we've stepped out in faith. Yeah. So it's been one of the joys of my heart. I don't know how many people out there were like this, but it's been one of the joys of my heart for seeing my little daughter not go to church for her first couple years of life. Was absolutely devastating to me. And having Miss Audrey be there for her and love on her and just introducing my child to faith in a positive way, that is what I live for. I love being able to see Hannah and now Luke come to church, and that being a place that they love. Like she always says, Daddy, before she goes to sleep, she says, Daddy, are we going to church tomorrow? And I'll be like, no, it's Monday.
We just did it. We just finished it. Yeah. Well, and there's a beauty of having a community come alongside you as a parent as well. Because there are people that will be able to speak to your child as they get older, right? I don't know how many times I would like say something to my guys as they were growing up, and I'm a voice they hear all the time. And then a small group leader or a friend would go and say the same thing, and they'd come home and they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, you won't believe this," and they would share something, and I'd just be like, that's amazing. Kind of like, why in the world? But when you have that community in that way that are able to speak truths and are willing to speak truths over your kids, it's so important because they hear it in a whole different way. The way that your daughter's getting poured into, and your son's pretty young right now, right?
Yeah, he just turned 1.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, and he looks just like me if you look at my pictures. Yeah. I have a little bit more hair now, but the balding is like real. So, but yeah, he's my little clone.
I love it. I love it.
Luke Stephen, named after Luke, and then Stephen, his middle name is after his Papa Steve, the founder here of this church.
Yes. Yeah. How very sweet. Very sweet. just final remarks. Just gosh, 10:30 on Sundays. Is there anything specific you just want to encourage people in? I would say for sure, if you're in the Madera Ranchos, come check it out. Webster Elementary is what you said.
Liberty.
Yeah? Liberty.
Yeah,
Why did
Liberty
I say
High
Webster?
School. We were at Webster.
You were at Webster.
Yeah,
I was going to say, where did that come from?
We're at Liberty.
Liberty.
Yeah.
Liberty.
Liberty. Yeah.
Say it one more time. Liberty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So, and then 10:30 on Sundays. You
Yeah.
could also watch online. You're live
Yeah.
on Facebook.
Yes.
Online. Yeah. And any needs that you guys have specifically right now as a church?
Yeah. I would say if you are living in the Ranchos or in the Riverstone area and you're like, man, I would just love to be a part of a church plant.
Yeah.
This would be a really cool moment for you to step into something that's brand new.
Yeah.
And our heart and our hope is to reach people that don't know Jesus. So people say that church plants are the number one resource to reach unchurched people.
Oh,
so
really?
you have a tangible way to help people know Jesus and be part of something that's gonna outlive you. You know,
Wow.
we're gonna hopefully change the eternal destinations of people through planting this church.
Yeah, absolutely. I would also encourage you guys to be praying for these leaders, praying for this church and these members. What was the number of people that started off on Zoom, just out of curiosity?
Oh my gosh, like 8 on a good week.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to go to, what about member-wise, you said about 25
Yeah, we have
now.
25 members
And
right
I'm
now.
sure not every single person attending right now is a member, correct?
No. Yeah.
So I'm already growing.
Yeah.
And what's really cool about stepping into ministry on this level is that there is a buy-in that's completely different.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you're all kind of in this early stage together.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, we don't do that way.
Yeah.
We don't do, we're all trying to figure it out together.
Yeah. Every single person has a unique voice into creating this. I think what a really unique thing about humanity is like God has given us the ability to create. Other animals can't create.
Yeah.
God instilled us with the ability to imagine a better future.
Yeah.
And had God not spoken to my little ear and said, we should start a church, this thing wouldn't have happened. And we as people together have the ability to create a better future and life in community with one another.
Wow.
It's a unique blessing and gifting from God.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can be a part of it from this ground up right here, right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you think about it, fast forward, just imagine if, Thrive is a North Point years down the road, right? Decades down the road, that you could be like, I was there when we were just meeting inside of this school. You know, I was there when it was Zoom. I was there, on the grand opening weekend. It was the first time I ever walked up to this church and haven't left, and I've seen it grow and change and stuff. That would be a pretty cool thing to be a part of.
Yeah. That would be amazing.
That would be
It's
amazing.
A blessing.
I love it. Well, make sure that you follow them on social as well. You can kind of just get a bird's eye view of all the things that are happening with Thrive. In fact, I saw the baptism you guys posted about that.
Yeah.
If you go to the link on this video, you will see their website. You can scroll to the bottom and see there's some links to Facebook and YouTube and stuff like that. So you guys can check that stuff out. You can give to Thrive Church as well and see your treasure go a long way.
Yeah, I want to say thank you to North Point, because there's been some people from North Point that have written big checks, and I don't even know who you guys are. I don't even know who you guys
That's
are.
amazing.
But you guys are giving to our church, and I don't know who you are. It's an incredible blessing.
But you know what? God knows who you are, and so thank you.
Yeah, thank
you for your faithfulness.
Yeah.
Thanks for seeing the value of like giving that kind of treasure to this church and see it growing. And we can see by the numbers you're talking about and by the way that things are moving so quickly that stuff is happening, and God's in it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, make sure you check it out, guys. We're so excited. Josh, I'm so excited for you guys. I can't wait to see this church grow.
Yes.
Thrive Church, check it out, and check it out 10:30 on Sundays.
10:30.
Yep. Go and make it a great rest of your week. Have a good one, guys.
Bye, guys.